What's up? It is your guy, Mark my words. Today I'm coming to you, bro, as a father, to talk to my fathers and stepfathers about what we should be doing to ensure that we press our kids, right, in the right way, as far as it comes to sports, but that we don't press them too hard. Okay, so let me just give you a couple situations that I've been through, having older children, and things that I'm doing differently now because I also have younger children, right? So let's jump into it, man. Let's jump into it. If you like the content, please like and subscribe to the channel. All right, that lets me know I'm doing the right thing for the right reasons and it's hitting home. All right. Also, I would ask that you share this episode with somebody that is a father that could use a little bit of information. That's it, bro. All right. Now, so just a little bit of background. I've been a dad now since like the 90s, bro. So since 1999. So I have an older son that's 25. I have one that's 19 in college. I also have 6 and 5-year-old stepkids. All right. So it's a wide range there. You know what I mean? And but it does present some opportunities to do things differently the second or third time around. Knowing what I wish I would have known before. You know what I'm saying? So the first thing that's important, man, is to realize that kids aren't the same way as they were 20 years ago or even 25 years ago. So when my older son's, when he's 5 years old, which is 20 years ago, 2005, they didn't have access to the internet like they do now. Okay, not children anyway. And I don't know where we were at as far as the internet is concerned, but I know that things have changed drastically since that time. And also the ability for them to connect with other kids on their game consoles, right? Now they can get on the phone and FaceTime with a kid while playing with them on the same game from different homes, right? They couldn't do that 20 years ago. So the need or want to go outside and play sports is not the same as it used to be. All right. So as far as it comes to playing sports, the kids are different now, right? And we always talk about how it was in our day, like, oh, it was back in our day, it was this, it was that. Bro, we grew up in the 70s and 80s. Some of you grew up in the 90s even, where you had to go outside, or you wouldn't have any friends. You missed out on everything if you didn't go outside. Well, when you got outside, you had to play stuff because it's boring just to stand around. So we ended up playing sandlot football. We ended up playing 21 on a basketball court. We ended up playing home run derby on the baseball fields, right? A lot of you guys were playing basketball in the alley with milk crates, right? But so you learned different things back then. The ages of the kids didn't matter who you were playing against, right? Whoever showed up, that's who was playing. The ability of the kids didn't matter. You had to play whoever was out there, right? If you got into a scuffle, it just was what it was. You're gonna be in a scuffle. You understand? So we were built different because we did different. If we have older kids in their 20s, they were built different because things were different. If you have kids now that are 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, they are different because things are different. They're not pressed to do the same things. They're not outside as much. They're not riding their bikes as much. Their bodies are developing differently, right? The food is different. Rules are different as well. Discipline is different. So because of a lot of those factors, we can't expect those kids to perform like the kids of the 90s, the kids of the early 2000s, right? The kids who were born in the 70s and 80s like we were. So we got to treat them differently, bro. One of the biggest things that I had to realize was that, as about every 5-year increments, bro, things are going to change. So kids won't be the same, okay? Their needs will change. So my older son played outside a lot, right? He played basketball outside a lot. But my 19-year-old, by the time he was 7, he was playing AAU basketball, right? So it's springtime. He's playing basketball inside the entire spring and summer. He doesn't want to play outside. He's playing organized basketball all of the time. So even if I look at the differences in how they play basketball, it was different because one of the kids grew up mainly playing basketball on the basketball court. And he played in the wintertime, organized obviously, but spring and summer, it was outside. Well, guys, you develop certain habits, right? Certain traits when you play anything outside without refs and rules and coaches, okay? That would be hockey, that would be soccer, that would be baseball. It wouldn't matter. You're going to develop certain habits. Certain things are different. So because of that, I couldn't expect my 19-year-old when he was 9 to do the same things that his older brother did because it was different then, okay? So I see that a lot of you guys, you know, ages of 6 to 10, you got kids that are, you know, 6, 7, 8 years old, and you're expecting them to do things that you were doing when you were 6, 7, and 8, but you learned how to play basketball differently. Then, on top of that, let's be clear about something. They have access to footage that we did not have. They have access to footage we did not have. Bro, we couldn't just open our phones and watch clips of Dr. J, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Michael Jordan, Isaiah Thomas, Magic Johnson. And they were the top stars. You think about it, these kids now, they're watching YouTube, bro, and they're watching dudes from Croatia. They're watching people from Europe. They're watching guys from China. They have access to footage that we couldn't even dream of back then, okay? So they style their games after these guys. So again, at a young age, they're playing the same way that they see these internet guys play. They might not be as tough and as gritty as you want them to be because they're seeing other guys do certain things. If your kid's a football player, they're watching guys run drills and play 7-on-7. There's no contact. The only highlights that we had were you're watching guys like, you're watching super tough older guys tackle and hit and be bloody and play through everything. Well, our kids don't see that. They don't see that. If somebody has a messed up finger or a messed up toe, they sit out. And that's exactly what the report says. Messed up finger, messed up toe. He's sitting out. Our kids adopt that way of thinking. Okay? So, as you're parenting these younger kids, you have to understand that, number one, they're learning the game differently by where they're playing and how they're playing, right? And the opportunities that we've given them. We're traveling to play basketball. We're traveling to play baseball. We're traveling to play hockey. These kids are 10. When you were 10, you didn't play anybody outside of your neighborhood. You rarely played against anybody outside of your immediate neighborhood, bro. 10-block radius. You didn't even know how the other guys played over there. You had no idea. Now these kids are playing against kids from Florida when you live in West Virginia. They might play a team from Canada and you live in the States. Bro, it's different, all right? So their exposure is different, and that probably has helped them a lot. But sometimes we will be expecting greatness or things that came from circumstances. We were playing outside against older kids a lot of time. We don't realize we're playing against older kids. We're playing baseball in the summertime. 2 of the kids might be 13, 14 years old. They might be pitching. You're 10. You're trying to bat against a 13-year-old. We had no idea. We just, oh, that's Dave, 2 blocks away. I got to try to hit his fastball. That's what you're thinking, okay? So what I'm learning now, that with my younger kids, man, is that they learn the game differently because they watch different people from different areas. So they're not going to do everything that my older kids did. Also, they don't play outside, right? Then there's no rush to be great at one single sport. And because there's no urgency to be great, I try not to press them to be great at one single sport. Why is that a thing? Well, when we were younger, bro, you played inside the season, okay? And you only had the opportunity to play a certain amount of sports. Most of us, now we're talking 70s, 80s, you played baseball, basketball, football, right? some people were in areas that they could play hockey. And then you have some people that could play soccer, right? But for the most part, between those 5 sports, bro, those were your options. These kids now have options to play lacrosse, field hockey, softball, baseball, hockey, basketball, football, flag football, swimming, cross country, track. I mean, we're talking, these sports are available. These kids are 8 years old. And a lot of them you can do all year round, depending on where you live. They don't have to be great at anything. So think about it, bro. If you have 10 jobs, you have 10 sources of income, do you think you would search for greatness at any of them? Probably not. Because you have other sources. They have other places to go play. They have other teams they can go play for. Again, you played for your neighborhood. You played for your community-based team. You didn't go across town if you didn't like the coach. You just dealt with it. We're taking our kids to a different team every year if we don't like the coach. We're taking our kids to a different organization if we don't like the winning percentage of the team we were on. Right? And good, bad, or indifferent, it's not setting a sense of urgency. So you can't expect them to have a sense of urgency because things aren't the same. So with these younger ones, man, because they're just starting to play sports, right? The urgency isn't there to be great. And I got to be okay with that as well. But I also have to realize they're not going to be as tough, right out the gate as my older kids, because they came up in a totally different era, bro. Totally different era. Also, checking yourself at the door is important. So I've been fortunate, man. I got 4 boys. I have a kid who's playing college football right now, right? So I'm very fortunate in that regard, and I realize that isn't the norm, okay? And that's not, if you got 4 boys, bro, and 2 of them make it past high school football, like, you're lucky, right? In most sports, if your kid plays in college, they're pretty good. So you got to realize, man, that like the odds would say your next 2 probably aren't going to do that. You know what I mean? So what I'm doing for myself, man, for my own sanity, is I lowered my expectations, bro. Do they have to work hard? Well, absolutely. Do they have to be a great teammate? Absolutely. Do they have to show up every day and be consistent? Absolutely. But if they're not great, you know what I'm saying? They just ain't great. Also, I realized too that, getting them involved in individual sports, right? Swimming, cross country, judo, karate, boxing. They are sports where it's individually based. Now, I believe in team sports. I believe team sports are very, very important. I believe team sports are necessary for, to build up character and I mean, I think there are several things that you build up, that your kids build up by playing these team sports. But whereas my older kids only play team sports, now with these younger ones, it's like I need to get them involved in some individual sports, perhaps even tennis. And not saying that that's all they do, but that's part of the repertoire, because man, it develops different skills, man. I think honestly the accountability is like at an all-time high when you play an individual sport. Most of the time the coach doesn't matter as much, right? Most of the time you don't have the favoritism. You don't have, he's better than me. You don't have, he's not better than me, he's just playing more than me. It's you and the other guy, right? So I'm looking forward to putting them in some individual sports to take off the pressure of the team, right? During the seasons where we're not playing on a team as well. Also, man, as you get older, you get better, right? You become more knowledgeable. I became more knowledgeable just from, exposure, trial and error as well. So, yeah, the kid that plays college ball, bro, he was good at 8 years old. But my older one wasn't as good at 8 years old. Like, he had to work really, really hard to become what he ended up becoming by the end of it, right? And so they were different kids. Talent-wise, just different kids. But either way, at 8 years old, it didn't matter how good either of them were. It didn't matter. Because things change so much. I think the things that you're building when they're 7, 8, 9, and 10, and 11, and 12. Bro, build the things that have nothing to do with talent. Right? So with the little guys, it's every practice you got to shake your coach's hands after practice. You know what I mean? When you walk up and you get on the field or you get on the court, give out a few fist bumps to your teammates. You know what I'm saying? Always standing up on the bench when somebody comes off the field and congratulating them for going hard, right? Because those are the things that I feel like I probably did not hone in on as much with my older kids, and it was harder to develop when they got older. The talent's gonna come, right? Because with the hard work and consistency, bro, normally in a sport, you can find one or two things you can do well. And then, you can be an asset to a team, or again, in an individual sport, okay, I'm really good at these two things. I can beat a lot of my opponents with these two attributes. But the character, man, the being a great teammate, being coachable, those things are the tough things. So early on now, that's the focus for the two little guys. I mean, they're 6 and 5, bro. I hear you guys talking about putting your kids in training and getting a quarterback coach or a shooting coach, and I mean, I'm not trying to tell you not to do that. I'm just telling you that stuff doesn't matter as much when they're young, like you would think. I think when they're younger, they have to have fun and enjoy it, and build great characteristics so it becomes fun. You don't want it to be stressful, right? You don't want it to be stressful. It's like going to the gym. Yeah, you got to bust your ass when you're there, bro. But if you hate your workout, you're not going to want to go. Why would you want to go to the gym and you hate your workout? Right? And also, too, we can handle something we hate. A lot of y'all sleep with somebody you hate every night for 10 years. But at 7 years old, most of the things they do, they like. They like school. They like their classmates. They like their book bag. They like riding on the bus. They like their breakfast. They like their lunch. They like their dinner. They like everything. You don't want the sport that they're playing to be the one thing that they hate, because you're pressuring them to be great too early, right? Bro, I mean, I'm telling you, the kid of mine who made it to college football, he was just good. I didn't do anything special with him, right? And I know back then I wasn't in the same health I'm in now. I mean, my health wasn't in the same, I wasn't at the same level health-wise back then. And so I know I was probably more, tight with him. I was probably a little bit more angry when he messed up. So I would have done some things differently as far as that was concerned. But I did allow him to have fun, right? And it was never an option whether or not you're going to be a good teammate or not. That was never an option, man. And I'm hoping that follows him now. But a lot of it, man, is just God-given talent. And a lot of it is just God-given. There's some kids that are just good at everything, man. And I got lucky with that one. It might not be the case with these two, right? And so, obviously, they have to play a sport year-round. Like, we don't really get breaks, right? But you don't need to play 2 and 3 sports at a time either. And we didn't really hit on that. But guys, I think we're burning our kids out sometimes with they playing 3 sports at once, or for 3 teams at once. I've never seen that kid come back the next season and he's so much better than everybody because he played so much the year before. Reps are important, but I believe when it goes from being fun to a job, it works in reverse. That's like overtraining at the gym. Right? You got chest day, you did 16 sets. You coming back tomorrow and doing 8 more sets is not trust me, it's not gonna help your chest grow. You know what I mean? It might actually set you back a little bit. That's how it works. So I know for myself, and what I would like to see with a lot of you guys, man, with younger kids, is that, again, character, teamwork, being coachable. Put that at the forefront, man. Allow them to sample different sports. They don't have to play the sports that you played. And you'll probably find out, man, that your kids have a lot of talents if you don't keep them in a box. You know what I'm saying? Also, just realize, man, they're learning how to play these sports in a different fashion because of their exposure, you know, with the internet. So they're able to just watch kids from different areas, professionals from different areas. So they're learning these games differently than what we did. Okay? And bro, listen, it's a different time. It's a different era, different years. They're not going to be as gritty as you were. They're just not. They didn't grow up the same. Some of you guys didn't have air conditioning in your house. Like, bro, these kids, and what we're doing in 2025, you know, the motive for all of us is to keep them from being uncomfortable and struggle, right? So with that, obviously comes a different type of kid. It just is, man. So we just got to be okay with that, man. And this is my message to you, like an overall message is, you know, don't become adversarial with your kids over these sports. Sports are very important. Sports are very important. But it's not important enough for you to drive a wedge through you and your child. It's not that deep, bro. You know what I'm saying? And they're winning every day. The record doesn't determine whether they're a winner or not. Their batting percentage, the points scored, that doesn't determine whether they're getting better every single day. Every time they lace them up, every time they go out there, every time that whistle blows, every time they see a score up on the scoreboard, every time somebody calls a foul or a penalty on them and they got to deal with it, it's building them up. Just be okay with that process, right? And enjoy it. That's the last thing I'm gonna tell you, bro. Look, listen. Like I said, I got one that's 25. He's no longer playing sports. I got one that's 19. He's in college. Bro, when I tell you what I learned through that time, again, my 19-year-old, he's pretty good, right? He's pretty good. But I'm to the point where I enjoy every single down that he plays. Every single down. Because when he was a freshman, he redshirted and he didn't play, right? He's a freshman in high school. He didn't play varsity. So you go from him being that guy senior year in high school to now he's not playing at all. That will make you appreciate every single down. Every down he's out there, bro, even if he's just blocking. He's a receiver. Even if he's just blocking. I'm appreciating it, man. I'm appreciating it because it ain't going to last forever. You know what I mean? I'm not the guy that says it goes quick. But I tell you what, it's a lot more satisfying, man, when you enjoy every single part of it. The pregame, during the game, halftime, you know what I'm saying? The snacks, the beer, whatever it is. I enjoy all of it, man. So when your kids are that little, if you're lucky enough to do this and start this journey and your kids are 5 and 6, and bro, enjoy it. Enjoy it. Please don't be the dad that's out there going crazy. And honestly, bro, everything we talk about on this page has something to do with keeping calm. You know what I'm saying? And keeping our stress levels down. There are no situations where we should be letting our stress get super high, bro, because we're never at our best when our stress is high. So when it comes to watching your children play sports, just realize, bro, there are people who don't have kids. There are people whose kids never want to play sports, bro. There are people who have girls and they're very feminine and they're into other things. They're not into sports, dude. I'm talking to you. If you made it to this point, you probably got some boys. Bro, you're fortunate. Let's not ruin it. Let's not ruin it. Enjoy it. Enjoy it, bro. Enjoy the coaches. Enjoy every part of it. Because at some point, bro, it comes to an end. Even if your kid becomes a professional, they don't play in the pros forever. It comes to an end. So I'll leave you with that, man. I'll leave you with that. Life is good. Life is good if we focus on the good. And we got to do that even with our children and with them playing sports. So I hope this resonated with you today. Now, I've had people contact me, man, and say that they're really struggling in this area. I've gotten emails, coachmark22@gmail.com. That is Coach Mark with a C, 22@gmail.com. I've gotten emails with guys who are really struggling in this specific area. They're either too hard on their kids, they don't like what mom allows them to do as far as it comes to sports, they're coaching and it's not working out well. The kids aren't as dialed in with their studies perhaps to go along with the sports, so they're missing out. A lot of things that can come about. If you are that guy and you possibly need some one-on-one attention, some one-on-one coaching, so that you can get through this period of time or the next 6 months or what have you, go down in the description, book a call with me, right? We'll get on the line, we'll figure out what's been going on and how you can move forward and try to make this a smooth process. Because, bro, if you got a 9-year-old, you might be doing this for 10 more years. You might have a kid going to college and you need to be able to handle the next 4 to 5 where you're not with them every day. Now you got to wonder, are they getting to sleep? Are they eating what they're supposed to? Are they getting to practice on time? All those things are stressful, right? Sometimes you just need some guidance on how to get through that. Go down in the description, book a call, bro. We'll get on the line. We'll talk about it, all right? So, I appreciate you for hanging out with me. If you made it this far, that means you spent a lot of time with me today. And your time is valuable, just like mine is. So I appreciate that, all right? I'll see you on the next one, bro. It's your boy, Mark my words.